What's up, everybody? Welcome back, man. It's your boy D Friend, episode number 85, maybe 86, something like that. Of the D Friend show is about to begin right. D Friend Daily, my bad, I changed it. D Friend Daily is about to begin right now. Before we get anything, and we got a couple things I want to get into before I get off today. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Make sure you turn on post notifications so you know every single time that I post on the channel. Like I said, if you want to listen to audio versions only, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, it's all over there for you to take in and listen to. So today, I got this viral clip that I want to discuss. This from a rapper that's, he has a big song. He has a huge song. One of my favorite songs of the year, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, especially, really the remix of Nardowick. And he's discussing robbery. And it resonated with me because that's how I really feel when it comes to these increasing robberies, increasing crime, because the narrative is always that, it's just, poor, impoverished people that are, doing these things. Not to say that Nardowick wasn't poor or isn't impoverished or whatever, but it's not just that. It's not the lack of jobs in some cases. Not maybe not all cases. This isn't everybody, obviously. But he's saying, what do people say? He's saying the quiet part out loud. So before we get into that, and Roddy Ricch's album flopping, and Lil Xan is accusing manager of creating him into a drug addict. We got a whole bunch of things to get to. Like I said, I do want to play that clip that went viral from Nardowick. Here it is.
Like, if you don't want to do no, like, if you don't want to, I was just looking at it like, do it. Like, I go rob a nigga and get, I go rob a nigga and get, why would I go to work? Why would I go to work? You feel me? For real.
Yeah. Some niggas ain't get robbers, so they
might be better at working a job than robbing.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. But you got to think,
for real. Like, do this to somebody. $7,000, $5,000, $5,000.
In like 20 minutes.
Less than that. Go to work. Go to work.
$200 for a week.
2 weeks to make $500.
But how much? I feel you.
I feel you, big dog. Fuck it. 20 minutes, we gonna get the bag. No, you got to push back on dumbass shit like that, man. Like, I get it. Logically, technically, Like, yeah, you rob a nigga for $5,000, you ain't got to go to work for shit. For some people, $5,000 might be 3 months of work for them, maybe even 4 months, depending on what job you partake in. But you got to push back. I know interviewers, they want to be cool with the artists, they want to do this, they want to do that. But, like, she's sitting there, yeah, you right. That's right, though. Like, there's people that watch y'all. There's kids that's going to look at this and be like, damn, Nardowick said I can make da-da-da-da-da. And it looked like DJ Scream was about to say something. He was about to say, hey, it's this. God damn, what the fuck going on? Let me take a pause real quick. It looked like DJ Scream was about to say, but, bring up the jail time to this. Is that really worth it? Da-da-da. The things that you should be saying, especially because Nardowick, I don't know how old he is. Nardowick's probably like, 21? He's probably really young, right? He's probably young and dumb. But these are people who are older veterans in the game. Like, DJ Scream was like, I believe he was tied to, Rick Ross and Maybach Music at one point. Like, he's been around. So instead of, maybe in this clip, right? I tried to look at for the extended clip because I do like to watch 10 seconds before, 10 seconds after. So I'm just saying, possibly they did later on. But I feel like you got to check shit like that. Because that type of rhetoric, that type of thought process is really what a lot of these guys are doing. Like, when you look at these robberies that's taking place in LA, we look at these robberies that's taking place in Chicago, Baltimore, New York, anywhere in America, people will see it, like news people, and they'll look at it and be like, it's just because it's a poverty-stricken area and yada, yada, yada. But it's like, bro, that cannot always be the excuse for it. At a certain point, you got to be like, no, these guys are wilding out. They're not even trying. It's different if you trying to get a job. It's different if you trying to better yourself. He just said, well, fuck it. What the fuck is the point of trying to get a job? I can just rob somebody. Like, it's just a casual thing. And I think, honestly, in my opinion, it's more casual like that than what we like to make it seem like. Like, there's people that are like their kids don't have diapers, or, they want their kids to have a couple of Christmas presents, or, they really, really, really trying to help their mama get out of foreclosure. I don't feel like most of the time it is that. I feel like most of the time, it is what Nardowick is saying. Why go work at Walmart at 16, 17? Because let's be honest, too, a lot of these guys are getting caught up in these robberies, aggravated assaults, armed robberies. They're people that are young. It's not, I mean, obviously, it's going to be 30-year-olds, old people, but a lot of these guys are young. At 16, 17, you really don't need to risk robbing somebody for $5,000 for the potential of 7, depending on what state you live in, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 50 years in prison. I always bring this story around of people that, I don't know them, but you know how like there's people in your area when you're younger, like high school days, they're like known people, like people know them, like, oh, that is X, Y, and Z, right? So X and Y were doing a string of robberies at local like diners, like IHOPs, Denny's, things like that, like whatever little breakfast, Waffle House, shit like that, right? The reports claim that they really only got off with about $2,000 to $3,000, right? $2,000 to $3,000. Some people, according to Nardowick, like, oh, that means $2,000 to $3,000. That's great. These two brothers, at 18 years old, 35 years in prison. And as an adult, as a person who's older, and I know kids, they don't have the full capacity. They shit, what the fuck, their cerebral frontal cortex, whatever the fuck people say, isn't fully developed at 20 or at 16, so they don't know, they're dumb, they're young, whatever. I get it. But I still feel like it's a thing that's perpetuated to make it look like that's cooler than just going to get a job. Like, do you remember in school, like people used to think it was cool to act dumb? Like people really, I don't know about when you guys were in school. I don't know when y'all was in school. Maybe y'all was in school in the 80s, 90s, shit. Maybe some of y'all in school right now. I don't know. But when I was in school, in middle school, high school, there was people that thought it was cool to be dumb because they wanted to look cool. And like, where does that cultural thing even come from to where you make that a cool thing to do? So I feel like with Nardowick and his generation, they think that shit is cool. They think robbing people so you don't got to go work at Chick-fil-A or Subway. And I get these ain't the best jobs. You ain't going to be a millionaire working at these places. You're not going to be whatever. But like I said, when you see interviews like that and you see these three older people really not giving too much pushback, it kind of tells you where things are at, in my opinion. Because that's something you would want to push. Yeah, that, you know, maybe Nardowick knows that wasn't smart, but I don't feel like he probably feel like that's just regular everyday life. Because that's probably how it is where he comes from. And I understand it. Some people just do shit from where they come from. And there ain't a bunch of people around them saying that that's the wrong thing to do because everybody around them is doing that same thing. So they don't look at it as the wrong thing to do. But when I see shit like robbery, because I follow this page, LA, I don't know what the fuck it is, LA crime, whatever the fuck it is, something about LA, right? And they're showing these people getting robbed at 6 o'clock in the evening time. People, I don't know who the people are, but they're just going up to their doors. And you got two guys running up on them, one with a gun, one without a gun, punching them, doing this, doing that, and taking what do you think you're going to get off these people? If I'm going to risk my life for a robbery, and I say this all the time, it got to be on some, like, what's some dude's name who was doing shit? It was Chris Brown, Michael Ealy, Takers. It got to be some big job shit, right? When 50 Cent was doing this shit with Ice Cube's son, they was like running up in the reserve to steal millions and millions of dollars. Like, I might risk maybe 20 years for millions and millions of dollars if the plan was going. Not me, but I wouldn't do that. But I can understand it. If you get caught, like, yeah, he tried to go big or go home. But you're doing like little petty shit. Oh, you stole his iPhone. You may have stole his credit card that's got a $500 balance on. Like, to risk going to prison, like, I think that's just a detriment, and I think that's stupid. And it even leads into, and I know that guy didn't want me talking about K-Flock, but I'm still gonna talk about it. I don't give a fuck. Salute to him though. K-Flock, who, like I reported twice already, is a rapper from the Bronx, got caught up for murder. One video it looked like it may have possibly been self-defense because guy came out and did whatever. But even after that, you think about this, you're locked up for murder. You're in jail. Salute to hey, we got to pause for the cause real quick. Salute my dog, Charles Edward Cheese, for the end of the year contribution to the goddamn show. Salute to you. And hey, like I said, Charles Edward Cheese, you got to blame Bryce. I was ready. I went in for like a little extra shift real quick before the day was over. I told Bryce 10, my boy, he had a long day. He fell asleep. That one ain't on me, big dog. I'm just letting you know. It ain't on me. But it was like I was saying, like I said, salute Charles Everett once again. But with the K-Flock shit, it's like there's this guy named K-Flock, Bronx rapper, caught up for murder, yada, 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 right? Rather than sit in jail, try to figure it out. Maybe it was self-defense, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Somebody told me there's no self-defense in New York. Cool, I got you. You do a jailhouse freestyle dissing your cousin and talking about shootings and all this type of shit, right? On the jail phone. I get it when you rapping, but you do it on the jail phone. And then you know what happens? The cousin, whose name is D-Thing, he responds to him. And that's just my thing. Like, what is the logic behind it? When I saw that D-Thing and K-Flock, like, K-Flock, I've listened to his music. I think he makes pretty good music. I really ain't listen to D-Thing's music. I listen to K-Flock's music. I think he has pretty good. I think he has the chance to be the next, New York viral sensation. I don't think he's going to be big like Pop Smoke or this or that, but he has the ability to create a buzz, create a name, and create money like a Young M.A. or something like that, right? So still a pretty good stature in the music industry. But it's like psychologists, I got to keep it going. Street shit got to be first. My ego got to be first. This got to be first. That got to be first. And then, like I said, fuck if you got beef with your op or whatever the fuck, that's cool. But that's your cousin. Now, I don't know if it's his first, second, third, but like, that's your cousin. They're willing to kill, the cousin is willing to kill the cousin, right? Like, this shit just doesn't make any sense to me. Like I said, that just goes into the psychology of shit that's going on within the streets that are one of those things, once again, that just do not make any sense. And nobody can really give me a good, like, there's nothing you can tell me. I don't give a fuck if your cousin lives in Shady View and you live in Sunnyside, right? I don't give a fuck. To where you could tell me where we can get to the level of, like, threatening to kill my cousin. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure there's families all across America where their cousin is on the opposite side. But anywhere you see where it's like, I'd be willing to kill my cousin. That mindset is just like, just fucking like a detriment. This doesn't make sense. Why everyone on K-Flock so much? I mean, he a rapper, Maybe they snitch him strategically so he can get out. I mean, maybe, possibly. But like I said, like, people were confused while I was talking about K-Flock. It's like, bro, K-Flock's not like people know who K-Flock is, right? And then when a rapper gets caught up in a murder, that's like a big deal. It's just like when a rapper dies, like, whoa, what the fuck? Nobody was expecting that to happen. Like, I know y'all rap about these things, but the fact you actually did this, it's like a shocking thing. It's something to talk about. Like I said, another one looks like maybe it's self-defense more than it would be, an actual cold-blooded murder like they rap about. But it's still something that could go either way for a guy like K-Flock, who's had his run-ins with the law. We see how the FBI cracks down on New York artists so hard. Now, I always say that ever since the 6ix9ine shit, because I was never really like tuned in to the law and order of like rap shit until like even when Bobby Shmurda them. But like, I'm just in the mindset that every rapper who has a brand that is strongly centered around violence, and there's like an organization around it, there's a name around it, I would just go out on a limb and assume that they are looking at you. And I feel like every rapper should be under the assumption that they are looking at them as well. They might not have enough to get you yet, but I can assume that they are trying actively to get you. What was NBA Youngboy's case called, they said, by the FBI? It was called like never being free again. Like, think about that. He's never broke again, NBA Youngboy, never broke again. The FBI made a task force, made a collective called Never Be Free Again. So you don't think, and we people like to blame, like I see academics getting blamed for the K-Flock shit, right? All academics' fault. He only promotes this, he only posts that. For the millionth time, where do you think he's getting the content to post from? He's not creating the content. He's taking the content from these guys' pages. When you see people like Trap Lord Ross, Hip Hop Viral, whatever, or Hip Hop Deadly Streets, or whatever videos you watch of shit like that, when you watch the KTA versus AK, whatever the fuck TK shit in Jacksonville, right? When you watch I did watch a video here, the YGs, the OGs versus Southside. When you watch that shit and it gets put together like that, these content creators aren't creating this content out of thin air. These guys are putting this shit on the internet themselves. And if you don't think the FBI here, you talk about murder after murder after murder after murder after murder, that they not looking at you, and you want to blame bloggers and this shit like that because they talked about it, when you put it out there, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And this shit just give me, because it's like you're doing it to, and the only thing that really makes me upset about it is because like you put yourself, now I get it. Some guys maybe run away from demons, right? Some people are running away from shit they did in their past before they became famous, right? I understand that. But my issue is when you become famous or have some level of notoriety and you continue to dibble dabble in the shit that you were doing before, and then you end up getting arrested. For example, Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty was not Pooh Shiesty of 2021 when he got caught up in the shit he was doing, but he was still having a buzz and name. Why would Pooh Shiesty pull up on a guy and shoot him as a robber? Like, you are about to be a mega superstar rapper. And I can't feel sorry for guys that do shit like that. I can't feel sorry for guys who fumble the bag. I can't. Maybe you can, but I can't. Because there's plenty of people that would have got that opportunity and ran with it. Yeah, maybe they've been running away from demons from the past. There's plenty of rappers now that have done shit in their past that they, probably regret, or maybe they don't regret it, but they're running from demons. But they were able to get on and kind of move forward and move a little bit smarter. A lot of these guys are getting on and still committing the same dumb shit they was doing before they was on. That's why this shit don't make sense to me. That's why I don't feel bad when I see shit going on, because like, you got to know that. Maybe you was a local street dude and you wasn't super famous, you could have got away with shit, but like, bro, now you got 800, 500, 300,000 subscribers. Every time you post something, people clip it and put it on YouTube, you get 500, 300,000. Like, what are you doing? You cannot feel sorry for shit like that. I'm sorry, I cannot. We need to protect academics at all costs. Too important to the culture. Man, that's, he ain't going nowhere. But anyways, that was my rant about the Nardowick shit, about the fucking K Flock and his cousin, and they're both. And then the thing is, y'all are both in jail doing shitty freestyle. People was like hyping the freestyles up through the jail phone. You could barely hear the shit. But like I said, we like to talk shit and do all this. Like I said about blogs. Why would you post that? Why would you do that? But when the rappers are posting the shit, y'all are cheering it. So why do you get mad when the bloggers repost the shit that you was just on the rapper's page cheering? It don't make no sense. So I'm off of it. I'm off of that. So I want to talk about music. I want to talk about Roddy Ricch. So Roddy Ricch album came out. I keep coughing. I promise I don't have Omicron. I don't got none of that shit. I got a test. But anyways, Roddy Ricch album came out. I don't know what the album's called. Live Life Fast, right? Highly anticipated project because Roddy Ricch was coming off of Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, which I honestly believe if you listen to it from front to back, you can, in like a year or two from now, you could probably say that's like a classic album. Like no bullshit. A classic project. It had the hits. It got the album cuts that are great as well. Like that was a very well put together, structured debut. I think it was his debut. I think before that he was just releasing mixtapes. But that was a very good project for Roddy Ricch. Can y'all still hear me? I know my camera went out, but can y'all still hear me? That's all I want to know. If y'all can still hear me, fuck it, we rocking. We here. So anyways, like I said, Roddy Ricch's album is deemed as a flop because Roddy Ricch only sold 200 and not even 200, my bad, 60 something thousand. It debuted at number 4 on the Billboard charts. I'm just going to read the article for you. So, following the release of his sophomore studio album, Live Life Fast, some hip hop fans are unimpressed with Compton rapper Roddy Ricch's career progression. The superstar made a massive impact with the release of his debut album, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. The project convinced many of Roddy's potential as the next big rapper, with hits including The Box, Boom Boom Room, High Fashion, PETA, and more. Unfortunately, It doesn't look like Roddy was able to successfully follow up his debut, following into a sophomore slump and failing to meet expectations on Live Laugh Fast, which debuted at number 4 on the Billboard charts with 64,000 first week sales. So that alone, for an artist like Roddy Ricch, is not good, because I was putting Roddy Ricch in the circle of like Lil Baby. I would say he's so talented, he gonna be like in the class of like a Young Boy, a Dirk, the Baby, like these newer guys that are out here doing a thing. But to see him only sell 64,000, to me it feels like not the musical ability, because I like the album's good. Like, I'm not gonna say the album isn't trash. I just don't think that Roddy Ricch has the fan base like a Young Boy, like a Lil Baby, like a Lil Dirk, because there's nothing about him that would make you want to consistently follow him. And I feel like a lot of rap nowadays is like, who do you want to follow? Like, the music is there, but a lot of times it feels like the music is secondary to the personality. And Roddy Ricch, to me, doesn't show or have that personality. People like Lil Baby. People love NBA Youngboy. People like Lil Durk. People like Moneybagg Yo. People like the Baby. But Roddy Ricch is like, mysterious, precarious, all that type of shit. Nobody really goes for that. Nobody really cares for that. Right? So whenever a guy like Roddy Ricch flops, well, people call it flop musically, because I would say it's a flop only because I am definitely sure that his label had way higher expectations than 64,000. If you see a guy like Polo G, I'm going to pull it up real quick. If you see a guy like Polo G, rap album, biggest first, was it, I'm just like Polo G. Polo G first week album sales. Right, so like a guy like Polo G. Polo G dropped Hall of Fame and did 143,000 in the first week. 143,000 for Polo G. And you would think at the time when Roddy Ricch, The Box was number 1 for like 8 weeks straight, right? Boom Boom Room was great. High Fashion with DJ Mustard was great. PETA, great. Other records, he had some shit on there with Gunna, great. The album was great. You would expect that the second album, he would have been able to collect more of a fan base that really fuck with him. But it looks like Roddy Ricch doesn't really have a core fan base. Roddy Ricch's success is probably only going to be driven off if he can create a big single. And if Roddy Ricch can't create a big single, then the sales and the listens are not going to follow. Because like I said, people, especially in this younger generation, I really honestly feel like they care more about, do they actually like the rapper than do they like the music that they are putting out? People are so I don't know why. I honestly don't understand why. I don't know why people are so drawn to him and Youngboy. Like, it's still a phenomenon that I haven't quite been able to grasp yet. Of what does he say? What does he do? What is he like? What draws the kids to him? Or maybe it's just because kids like to follow and meme type shit. So maybe that's it. Why be better? I don't know, but Roddy Ricch doesn't have that. But Roddy Ricch announced, and this isn't a good sign, when you are a top tier, or you're looked at as a top tier talent, and you drop an album and your response is this. Where's the tweet? Free the Streets 3 coming 2022. You niggas playing with my top. That's not a good sign that your album was anything but mediocre to the public. Like I said, me personally, I don't think it was a bad album. I think it was a good album. Now, if we're going to say flop as far as numbers, I can honestly say Roddy Ricch numbers is probably a flop, because 64,000 for most people might be good. But like I said, you're held in that high regard, especially off coming after an album like Please Excuse Me Being Antisocial that had mega huge smash records that probably generated a ton of money for the record label. And for your new album to come out and then to do 64 and people not to really be playing it no more. You don't have that big single like you had. You had a couple big singles off the last one. To not have that, 64,000 for Roddy Ricch is a flop. Like I said, especially in comparison to people that we would put in class with Roddy Ricch, i.e. Lil Baby, Da Baby, Lil Durk, NBA Youngboy, Rod Wave, Polo G, all these people, and you're at 64. When I do believe Dirk, Rod, Polo, Lil Baby, Da Baby, and NBA Youngboy all sold at least over 100,000 in their first week. and you did it, that's not a good look, especially for the future, especially when everybody's so fickle with these new talent, especially when every year new talent comes out and there's going to be a new guy that everybody loves. And like I said, like Pooh Shiesty was a new guy everybody loved. Like Pooh Shiesty could easily push out somebody like Roddy Ricch because people might be more drawn to someone like Pooh Shiesty. They may feel like Pooh Shiesty's more authentic than a Roddy Ricch type of rapper. And easily you could be 2-3 years from now and nobody give a fuck about Roddy Ricch if he doesn't have a super big single. But like I said, I've been saying Roddy Ricch was one of the next guys up when he was having, what was the shit he had? What was the first records he had that were like super big? What the fuck they call it? Is it Out Every Day? I don't know what the song is, but I know it by heart, but I don't know what the name of the song is, but it's a great song. So, and you know what the funny thing about this? Because whenever I see Roddy Ricch only sold 64,000, you know what it made me think? It brought me back to those streams where academics was shitting on Meek Mill. You need a Roddy Ricch feature to do. Meek Mill at least sold 95. Like he might not have hit 100, but he at least sold 90. Roddy Ricch is 30 below. So to me, it looked like how Meek gave Roddy that Peter feature, and Peter was fire on Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. Maybe Roddy needed Meek more than Meek need Roddy from looking at these numbers and looking at this sport. Because Meek Mill, regardless if you like him or not, he's a staple in the game. He's a legend in the game, and people fuck with him. He's got a fan base. I don't think Roddy Ricch has a real solid fan base. Like I would like to see Roddy Ricch try to go on tour, and I would like to see what that looks like for him. And it's not to say he doesn't make good music. He makes good music. I like his music. He makes good music. But I don't think he's able to, because like I said, it feels like a lot of times in music today, music is typically secondary, personality is first. That's what it feels like. I'm not saying that's what it is. That's what it feels like. Roddy Ricch has to figure out a way to make those two connect because musically, he makes good music. Like, I don't think out of anybody I named, he's so much lower on a totem pole than anybody else as far as making music. But as far as people buying into the person, I don't think fans are bought into Roddy Ricch, and that's what these numbers show me. Because like I said, his peers are doing 100,000 plus. I'm not going to name them all again, but you know who his peers are. These young guys who are out now tearing shit up. They're doing the numbers, and Roddy's not. So we'll see what 2022 holds for Roddy Ricch and his thing. So this is interesting. I wanted to talk. Let me see. Hold on. I want to read some of the comments real quick. It was straight. Not his best, though. Yeah, I think Please Excuse Me Being Antisocial would be his, at least commercially. I mean, even though it's his first album, but commercial success, multiple singles, charting like that had to be his numero uno best work that he put out, at least commercially. Damn, some of these artists need an album rollout. Some can't just drop and let it be. Only a few artists have that capability. But the thing is, I feel like he was trying to roll it out like that Late at Night track, like. That was a pretty good record. Like it was out there. But I mean, I just don't think, like I said, I don't think people, and also too, like dropping in December could be good or bad for you. Cause I feel like a lot of people, like I ain't gonna lie to you, like before the Spotify rap shit came out and like before the holidays hit, like before Thanksgiving, before the end of the new year, you be on the music wave, you be on your shit, you be whatever. But I feel like when holiday times come around, people kind of check out all like that type of shit. They focus on like, you know, family, end of the year shit. They're just getting out of work or they're spending time with family. They're not really big on, oh, I'm about to listen to this Roddy Ricch. Especially like I said, if you're a superstar, if Drake was to have dropped, Kanye dropped, Kendrick dropped, you know, people would listen. But if you're not like a big major superstar artist like that, dropping at the end of the year probably isn't the best thing for you. Now, I believe he dropped Please Excuse Me Being Antisocial at the end of the year. But the thing about that album is that album with the box was able to carry into and really pick up steam in January, February. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when it really started to pick up a lot of steam. Now, maybe that happens for this album, but I don't really see that happening. So anyways, I want to talk about your children, right? So we saw that Ghislaine Maxwell, I don't know what she was, the child bringer, the child recruiter for Jeffrey Epstein was found guilty on all her charges yesterday. She's going to prison. They're saying up to 70 years. But I keep seeing these stories about producers from CNN getting caught up in some child sex shit, right? So this is a producer from CNN. And this is what the story says. So I want to read the headline, and then I'm going to go down to what the DOJ said. So second CNN producer under criminal investigation for allegations involving potential juvenile victims. So this is a report from the Department of Justice, right? So the report on Salebi comes just a couple of weeks after another CNN senior producer, John Griffin, 44, was hit with federal charges for allegations involving sexual crimes against children. The DOJ said in a statement, according to the indictment, from April to July 2020, Griffin utilized the messaging application's Kik. Let me tell you something. Let me pause it real quick. If there's and I don't know if kids still use Kik, right? But I know when I was in school, Kik was like the biggest deal. Like, oh my God, we got Kik. Kik is great. We don't give our phone numbers. Just give them your Kik name and all that shit. That's great, right? If you ever get on an adult's phone, especially a 44-year-old adult, just watch your family. If you get on any family member's phone, they have Kik. Watch out for them because there's no reason that adult, honestly, should be on Kik. But anyways, according to the indictment, according to the indictment from April to July 2020, Griffin utilized the messaging application Kik and Google Hangouts to communicate with people purporting to be parents of minor daughters, conveying to them, among other ideas, that a woman is a woman regardless of age. So that's the telltale signs of a pedophile. He trying to let you know, doesn't matter what age you are still a woman, yada, yada, real nasty stuff. And that women should be sexually subservient and inferior to men. On these communication platforms, Griffin sought to persuade parents to allow him to train their daughters to be sexually submissive. Just disgusting. And then you're a producer at one of the major media networks in America, living this double life of trying to recruit children. Now, obviously, this at the moment is all alleged. Not, he hasn't been charged yet, but when I see Department of Justice, I mean, they're looking at, they have all this information on you. They're probably going to grab you. So the statement said that Griffin brought a mother and her 9-year-old daughter to his home in Vermont, where the daughter was directed to engage in and did engage in unlawful sexual activity. New details that emerged from the unsealed court documents provided disturbing new revelations about the case. And the time of alleged criminal activity was CNN producer who used to work with recently fired host Chris Cuomo. Prosecutors say that Griffin stated that he believes there is a wanton whore at the core of any woman, and a woman is a woman regardless of her age. Prosecutors say that Griffin used apps to seek parents who would allow him to train their minor daughters to be sexually subservient. Griffin allegedly told one mother that he believed that one of the biggest lies of this society is that women are delicate, innocent angels, and they're in actuality, naturally, the dirtiest sluts possible in every metric. My camera's frozen, but I do believe you probably can still hear me. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but regardless, let's click back in. Regardless, the fact that a mother would allow a guy to even tell it, let me tell you something. Let me take a step back. There could never be any guy, man, woman, or anything that could tell me any of the things that I just read to you, and I would go and meet them with my daughter at 9 years old. Oh, yeah, you're right. Women are typically just little whores. They should have sex whenever, whatever age. Doesn't even matter. But the fact that there's people out here, there's a vast number of people like this. But it's always crazy when you see, you can look at certain people, you look at them, you just assume you look like you're like a little nasty. You might be doing some pedophilic things, right? But when it's scarier to me when you see people that live normal lives. You're a producer at CNN for one of the biggest media. Chris Cuomo at one point was one of the biggest media talk show people at the time. And you're working for him, but at home, you're recruiting children. Not even recruiting children directly. Their parents are bringing them to you. And I always tell them, if you get talked into somebody, it looks like this mom in Vermont got talked into, bring your child to a man across the country and allow them to commit sexual acts, you also should be in prison. That's how I look at it. So, now this is the last thing I'm going to read because this is getting disturbing. I'm not going to lie to you. It's getting a little disturbing. So, Heavy.com added, according to court documents, Griffin told a woman he was chatting with that he had sexually trained a girl as young as 7 years old. And he thought the woman's daughter would be a great candidate for such training alongside her mother. He told her they would start with the video chat in which Griffin would instruct the 14-year-old girl and her mother to remove their clothing and touch each other. Prosecutor said in the indictment, he also said the sexual training would eventually include in-person meetings featuring spanking, and I'm going to assume that says cock worship. Griffin was later fired by CNN. I'll give Griffin one thing. Griffin is a bold person to think that he could do shit like that. To message a mother, and I don't know if the mother and daughter went along with it, but to tell the mother, hey, we're about to do video chat conferences, and I'm going to film you guys touching each other, and then you're going to fly out to me, and we're going to do some weird, nasty threesome shit. It's disgusting. This guy should be way more than fired. Throw him completely under the jail. And like I said, if the mothers are giving into this, that's a form of child abuse as well. The mother should also be thrown into the gulags with this guy because he's sick, despicable, disgusting, and just a nasty perv. Right? That's all you say. Just a nasty, nasty perv. So I think that's all I want to talk about today. I had some other shit, like Lil Xan accusing his manager of force feeding him drugs, and because we're seeing people talking about it a lot lately, like. You'll see managers are giving artists drugs to perform, giving artists drugs in the studio because, again, the artists are already addicts and the artists can't live without it. So Lil Xan is blaming this guy named Stat Quo, who used to be a rapper, for shady. And then he started up the Blood Entertainment thing with Whack and the Game and whatever. He's accusing him of that. But people are also like, dog, it's kind of hard for you to really talk shit when your name is Lil Xan. So Lil Xan isn't going to get that, that treatment of poor victim, poor guy, right? That's just not going to happen. But that's all I got. I do have these China stories, but I don't know if y'all really for the China talk. But I ain't gonna lie, when 2022, I'm probably gonna expand on things because I want to talk about music and shit like that, but I also want to talk about like real shit going on because there's so much times we focus on shit that really don't matter too much. And we get distracted that we don't focus in on real shit that's going on that really affects us day to day that we don't even know about, right? So, actually, I will read this because this goes into the thing about the Uyghurs, right? The Uyghurs, Enes Kanter got on LeBron James because he wasn't bringing awareness to the Uyghurs. Obviously, LeBron, Nike, China. Uyghurs are ethnic minorities in China that are probably put into these camps where they're forced to work slave labor. Probably trying to, they're comparing them to like concentration camp style things, right? So there's an article that came out that China is working on brain control weaponry to paralyze their opponents. So the U.S. sanctioned China's Academy of Military and Medical Sciences, pictured in 11 associated institutions for allegedly developed brain control weaponry. The Commerce Department sanctioned the research institutes in a memo last week, and the 2019 documents were obtained and translated by the Washington Times. The Academy of Military Sciences and its affiliates are now on the entity list, meaning American firms cannot export or transfer goods to them without a license. It comes amid warnings from other government departments to U.S. companies that China is trying to acquire American technology and fix key sectors, including biotech. One official speaking to the FT said the technology that China is trying to develop includes gene editing, human performance enhancement, and brain-machine interfaces. Gina Raimondo, the U.S. Commerce Secretary, said there are concerns that China will use any such weapons to maintain control over its citizens, including ethnic minority Uyghur Muslims. And this is a quote from Gina Raimondo. Unfortunately, the People's Republic of China is choosing to use these technologies to pursue control over its people and its repression of members of ethnic and religious minority groups, We cannot allow U.S. commodities, technologies, and software that support medical science and biotechnical innovation to be diverted towards use contrary to U.S. national security. The Commerce Department also blacklisted companies from China, as well as Georgia, Malaysia, and Turkey for allegedly diverting U.S. items to the military of Iran, a U.S. adversary on which Washington maintains sweeping sanctions. Based in Beijing, the Academy of Military and Medical Sciences has been active in development of a COVID-19 vaccine, but the United States has been increasingly alarmed by the connection between civilian and military research in China. Can we keep it a buck? I don't want, like, besides, like, toys and shit like that to make in China, whatever, shoes, I know slave labor gets some issues, but I personally can't, like, any shoe I get is probably going to be made from somewhere in China, so I personally can't do nothing like that. But, like, if the Wuhan lab in China, right, in the lab leak is the cause of the coronavirus, and there's speculations, conspiracy theories. I'm not gonna say that because, like I said last time I talked about COVID, you took my video down. I had to appeal. They brought it back up. But anyways, do you really want a vaccine from? And I don't know. Maybe Pfizer vaccine, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson was made in China. I don't think so. But do you really want a vaccine made from China? Especially when you see the shit they trying to develop, they're trying to do. We saw that China's spokespeople said that there'll be major, repercussions if America tried to interfere with China trying to invade Taiwan, and these things that we really need to be looking at, right? These are things that get put on the small pages of these websites that we kind of look at like, that's some bullshit. But then like 3 years from now, it's like, oh, that's a real thing. Oh, China's actually created brain control weaponry from U.S. technology that we didn't even know they were using it for. So salute to the people for stopping it, because like I said, you don't want to be providing a nation that is essentially your competition. Like China is U.S.'s competition, right? We're both like the largest, most powerful, there's Russia in there too, but really U.S. and China, right? Russia's there, but Russia probably needs to team up with China to really fuck with us, right? So when you have these people out there, you don't want to be supplying them. Like, you don't want to supply them. Like, you don't want to sell somebody the gun that kills you, right? You just don't want to do that, especially when it comes to like weaponry and biotech. And we see if the lab leak of coronavirus is true, that we're creating these things in labs, right? You don't want that. And also for the Uyghur Muslims, I know the Congress did pass a thing recently, like 496 to one person that voted against it, to where they're going to start to look into the Uyghur Muslim thing, not allow products to be exported here that were created in slave factories by the Uyghur Muslims. Those are good things, right? Those are good things. We are not in competition with China. Stop it. They own us. I don't think they own us, because if they owned us, they would be doing whatever they want. But I do believe that China is playing a smart and long game, right? They're playing a smarter and longer game than us. Why do you think China is giving? And I looked this in. There's a documentary I was watching. Why is China giving money and taking over a massive amount of land in Africa? Why is Chinese billionaires, corporations buying tons of land in America? They're playing a long game. Like, I'm not saying China eventually can't be like the singular world power taking over. I'm not saying they can't be, because they're, like I said, they're doing shit in the long. I feel like they got like a 10-year plan, and they're slowly knocking their 10 plan. They put propaganda into America. They know how to make America. They got us doing all this shit, whether it be like TikTok is a Chinese corporation, but then you see people in China are limiting the amount of time children are allowed to be on TikTok. But it's in America, we say, fuck it, watch TikTok all you want, do all you want to do. That's how I look at it. We owe them trillions in major or everyday important stuff in China. I get all that. I get that. Like China owns a lot of our debt, right? We manufacture not manufacture, but we import a lot of things from China to America. And I get that, but that's just business of nations, right? Like I said, China's not doing the overtly like, hey, we're about to go to like war with America, and then once we win, Chinese dictatorship, Chinese tyranny will overtake America. It ain't to that level yet, but like I said, with the small steps that are being put in place, eventually that could be the situation. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you think so, I mean, if you think they have, I mean, you think that. Once they pass up, we'll be able to sit back and fully grasp what we needed to do as America. That was it. Like, that's why when you see all this shit, like, hey, we need to start pumping, making shit back in America. Even when you see in the beginning of the pandemic, where we were kind of strapped for a lot of our PPE because all of our PPE was made in other countries. Like, why are we not making PPE here? We didn't have shit here. We need to stop trying to, because we're looking more like American capitalism. We're looking for the profit, right? We want the money, right? So if we can get shit done in China by slaves and whatever, iPhones can be made by slaves for $4 an hour rather than making phones here where you got to pay people a certain wage, they're going to do that. That's how they're going to do shit. I get why they do it. It's fucked up, but I get why they do it. Trump warned us about China, but everybody thought he was crazy. Salute to Vicky Love for the super chat. Salute to you. Salute to you. And hey, man, it prayers for you, honestly, because I saw the shit that you post on your story. I would assume that I mean, I even assume, I know that's a very traumatic, situation that you had to witness and be. Because I think I told the story here where I was driving down the road one time, and you're different. Your story is different. He got, gunned down, but I saw a guy literally shoot himself in the head, and it was like, that's traumatic. So I can salute to you. That's all I gotta say. Salute to you in your mental health, because I'm sure it's like something that you probably think about still. Anyways, let me see what else we got. Cheap labor for a quick buck is fucking over America in the long run. That's why I say it's like a long-term thing. It's like a long-term plan. That's just what it is. That's how I see it. Now I get I'm not disagreeing with you saying. I think we do rely too much on China for goods and this and that. I do think whatever, but I don't think just yet that they are the world soul or the superpower of the world. I don't think so. Happy early New Year. Yeah, I think it's a wild out here. So my alarm went off. That's all I got for you guys. I appreciate everybody for coming in, watching, listening, tuning in. 2022 is right around the corner. Make sure you write out your goals. Make sure you just do it. That's what I'm doing. I mean, everything has been written. I put it from my brain to the universe. Make sure you do that for yourself as well. I appreciate everybody who watches, subscribes, everything. SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, the audio versions. Especially like the people who always hear. Troy the Photographer, Trey Stay Lit, Vicky Love, Charles Edward Cheese, Flying Low. Who else is always? Lydia. I appreciate the people who are Trey Stay Lit. Everybody who's always, and even the new people. Like I never seen, Waters World. Salute to him. Tyrone, I don't think I've ever seen you in my chat before, but salute to you for being here. Am I missing anybody else that may have been in the chat? No. Salute to all y'all. Y'all have a great day. I'm trying for the Absolute Sure podcast end of the year. We'll see what happens with that. Bryce fell asleep, but like I said, I fuck with y'all. Appreciate you for watching and listening, all that good shit. See y'all tomorrow, and then I'll see y'all in 2022. See you next time.